Hi everyone, this is Fabi, and in today's video I'll be reviewing the POCO F3 after it's been out on the market for more than 2 years and I've been carrying with me every day since. We are going to split this review into 5 categories and talk about the design, the operating system, the performance and other features the phone has, then the camera, then the battery, and finally whether the trade-offs POCO made to keep the price down were worth it and still allow the phone to be called a flagship killer. Okay, so first of all, talking about the design. The phone, at least in the color I got it in, which is deep ocean blue, has this very playful look to it, especially because the shade changes as you turn the phone around. It catches the eye and I personally like that, but for the moments where you just don't want the phone to stick out, throw a case on it and call it a day. While the materials on the back and the side are absolutely not comparable with those of flagships, I like the matte finish of the back quite a lot and it doesn't feel plasticky and cheap like the first Galaxy S phones did. The back is in fact very sturdy and it doesn't bend if you press hard on it like it would on other phones made out of plastic. My only gripe with it is that it scratches quite easily, like any plastic really. The sides seem to hold up pretty well to scratches and the display has thin enough bezels. I even think it beats my iPhone 14 Pro Max in this department. They are asymmetric though, with the chin being thicker, which takes away a few points from the looks department. The punch hole camera cutout is small, though for whatever reason it has this silver ring around the camera, which makes it stick out all the time. Before jumping over to the operating system, performance, and other features of the phone, I want you guys to hear a quick message from today's sponsor, PCBWay. As a leading PCB manufacturer, PCBWay can help you bring your PCB designs to reality, or they can also take care of assembly of parts on the board. If you're looking for 3D printed parts or even CNC machined parts, they can help you with this as well. They even have a section on their website dedicated to open source community projects, and if you have enough knowledge and have enough dedication, you could possibly even create your own phone from scratch using just the services that PCBWay offer. Don't wait any longer and use the link in the description to go to their website and see how they can help you get started. Now let's move to the operating system, the performance and the various features of the phone. The Xiaomi POCO F3 is powered by the Snapdragon 870, which has been used even in the successor to this phone, the POCO F4, and is from Qualcomm's flagship range of CPUs. This means that navigating through the menus is smooth, which is obviously helped by the 120Hz display, but an issue I've always had with Androids, and the POCO F3 is no exception, is the annoyingly high touchscreen response time. Some of this may be hardware, some may be software, but it's annoying that my touch is registered only after my finger has been off the touchscreen for a while. Apart from this, there is some stutter every now and then, like for example when swiping over to the news home screen, which seems to cause stuttering even on the latest and greatest Android flagships. Regarding the operating system, I honestly like the skin Xiaomi run on top of Android. MIUI is full of smooth animations, it feels zippy, and some apps like the phone and messages app are stock Android, which I appreciate. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. There's also apps like the Mi browser that I don't like, but the default browser can obviously be replaced effortlessly. The control center is undoubtedly inspired from iOS, but I personally like it as it's easy to navigate and things you use daily like the brightness and volume are large, unlike in Samsung's One UI where it can be hard to work with the small sliders. I gotta say, it's a bit disappointing though that Android 14 is right around the corner and my F3 is still stuck on Android 12. As far as MIUI goes, currently the phone runs MIUI 13, not the latest MIUI 14, but according to information on the internet, MIUI 14 and Android 13 has been pushed to some POCO F3s, so I suppose I just need to wait a bit longer. But in order to conclude, despite all of this, the phone is an absolute joy to use for all tasks. One thing I absolutely love about the phone is how good the fingerprint sensor is, as it instantly unlocks the phone, and I gotta say it's the fastest implementation I've seen. I also appreciate the fact that the POCO F3 has stereo speakers, as this is a huge benefit when watching videos on your phone, and they can also get loud enough, but the sound can be just a tiny bit tinny. One area where most of the so-called flagship killers cut corners is the camera department, and unfortunately the POCO F3 is no exception. While the cameras are mostly passable in good lighting conditions, as soon as the shot is a bit more challenging, things start to fall apart. On the back, there's the main 48 megapixel camera, an ultra-wide camera, and the macro camera you usually find on phones in this price range. One problem I've got with both the main and the ultra-wide camera is the colors they produce, which just don't look like in real life, and to make things worse, the color reproduction by the different cameras is not the same. The dynamic range is also really poor, and something that pisses me off is that you have to manually activate night mode through a menu. If you're not taking a lot of pictures or don't care about the quality of your pictures, it should do the trick though. The selfie camera is an adequate 20 megapixel shooter, so you have to pay attention to the beautify filters if that's not your cup of tea. These filters can do a number of things on your face, like make it look thinner, make your nose look thinner, make your eyes bigger, chin smaller, or simply smoothen out your skin. Quickly before moving on, please do like the video and leave a comment if you're finding it helpful. Also make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. All of these things help me bring you more content here on YouTube. Onto the battery, the phone does pretty well when it's being used, but the battery drain during standby is really bad, and I haven't been able to figure out exactly why. It's gotten to the point that the phone will barely last more than 24 hours on the charge when just sitting idle. This has gotten worse as time went on, but at only 2 years of use, I don't think it should be this bad. Moving on to the trade-offs POCO made in order to be able to sell this phone at around the price point of 300 euros, I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that they haven't compromised on screen or performance. The display is a 120Hz AMOLED panel that can push up to 1300 nits, so it will look good in sunlight, the blacks are black, and the refresh rate goes well with MIUI, which is full of animations. Performance, as already discussed, is still good after 2 years, and there's no signs of slowdowns. Connectivity is also great, and the 5G support assures the phone is future-proof in this department. The most noteworthy trade-off is in the camera department, but because I use the phone as a secondary phone, I really don't need the cameras to be good. There are also a lot of people that simply don't enjoy taking pictures, so I feel like this phone is perfect for those people. The materials used are also an area where costs were cut, but in a sensible way, and the phone doesn't feel cheap. One thing I really wish the phone had is wireless charging, as it's so convenient to just put the phone on a pad and let it charge while in the office or even in the car with newer cars. So there you have it. The POCO F3 is definitely a very good phone, even more than 2 years after its launch, despite being on the cheaper end of the spectrum. Phones at this price point are definitely a good deal if you're good with sacrificing at least in some areas. As I've said, with the POCO F3, functionality wise, the biggest compromise is the camera system, and the smaller one would be the omission of the wireless charging. Otherwise, the phone is really balanced and still performs very good. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you PCBWay for supporting this video. Again, please make sure to order your PCBs using my link in the description down below. If you're looking to buy the POCO F3 and want to support my channel, you can do so by buying through the Amazon link in the description down below. I'll catch up with you in the next video. Stay tuned.